On your marks, get set, bake.
I love that.
Good flavor.
That I really like.
That is delicious.
Bakers, your time is up.
Now, let me tell you, I ain't hear a lick of that. Did it play? I don't know.
I heard it.
Will I be adding it in post? Probably.
I heard it.
Mercury is in. You know what, Phil? True. I want you. We're gonna put Mercury in the microwave, and that's what's happening here. It's the last one of this series, series 15 of the Great British Bake Off. It's what we do. This is Krème Patisserie. It's a Great British Bake Off podcast. Each week I host it along with Nick, who hosts it, and we host it and we get our hosting on. Our missing man this entire season has unfortunately missing this whole season has been the 216's on Tatum. He just couldn't do it, people. We'll see if he's feeling up to snuff when we do this Great American Baking Show holiday special. But if not, I'm sorry, people. That's just how life be lifing.
But had a whole new human.
Yeah, for sure. This is the final. We are here at the wrap of this. Three bakers remain in attendance: Christiane, Dylan, and Georgie, whose name we found out is Georgina.
Yeah.
Which is there's a lot going on in this episode, y'all. It really was jam packed. For the intro this week, one for one, note for note, UK and international intro. So no changes on either one. I checked them both for you guys. No voice changes, no nothing. All the same, all the good. So that's what's popping like that. I mean, because
another week with no comedic open.
Man, I know. I miss it. It's why you kind of have to watch the extra slice. That's where you get they jam. That shit is funny. If y'all do not know, that's a very funny and fun show to watch, especially this last episode of the series because they bring in everybody. So everybody's in is in there and so forth. And Prue's on this episode, and so she's fun, way more fun than you would think. I got to give it up to Prue.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's just something about her that makes me feel like she's a real fun lady.
You know, you get a dame in front of it, you get a title, you be like, "Are you cool?" And turns out, yes, she's very cool. So I dig that. But again, as always, I'll slip it to you in the show notes. Worry not, the link will be there, and you can go and watch it on your own time. Because like I said, we're down to three bakers. You're gonna get a lot right up front here, and then we'll get to the show, and then we'll walk it out. It's breezy. Don't worry about it. But we got a new segment on this program. We call that segment Bakers Make the World Go Round. And before we do it, I click this button so we can intro the segment. Let's give you Bakers Make the World Go Round. Oh. I had a pillow back here that my family has taken, I think. Like trying to keep my posture correct for this program. I'm all on camera. Y'all looking at me, and I need to look halfway, like I know what I'm doing. Okay. The homie Frank sent us an article. I think I'm going to read that second. First, I'm going to play you this video. I came across this video on, of course, the Tiki Talks, and I was like, what an interesting video. And I want to make sure I give credit to who it is. Entertain the Elk is the... What is that? What's the turn of phrase for people on the user, I guess, on TikTok who posted this video?
Sure.
So I pulled it down off of that, and I'm going to play it for you now because I thought it was pretty interesting. It's like a minute and a half, y'all, so nothing to it. Check this out.
I went back and rewatched some episodes from the first season for the first time in like a decade, and I was blown away by how different it is from the recent seasons. There's the more obvious changes, like the shuffling of cast members. Judge Mary Berry and presenters Mel and Sue left the show after 7 seasons when the show changed networks from BBC to Channel 4. New Judge Prue and presenters Noel and Sandy appeared in season 8, though Sandy only lasted for 3 seasons, and replacement Matt Lucas only lasted for 3 more seasons, before Alison Hammond came on board in season 14. Many fans of the Great British Baking Show think it went downhill when it changed networks and lost the original cast, and I can understand that. The unique dynamic between Paul and Mary and the comedic rapport between Mel and Sue is one of the elements that made the show work so well.
I've got good news and bad news. Good news is great. Bad news, I've eaten it all.
But in the impossible task of replacing them, I think Prue does exactly what she needs to do without getting in the way, and Noel is a delightfully weird gem who has infused a lot more welcomed humor into the show.
That looks like expensive meat, actually, which is weird because we found that in a skip.
Even if the dynamic between Noel and Matt did tend to get a little one-note and over the top in their 3 seasons together, that's another change I noticed in the earlier seasons, particularly season 1. The tone is almost humorless. It's very dry. The show is still packed with a lot of heart and earnestness. Our first baking-related cry even comes in the very first episode. But the playful humor and innuendos the show would become known for didn't come until later seasons. And now, humor is such an important dynamic of the show, keeping the episodes fun, energetic, while also helping us get to see different sides of the bakers in the tent.
I loved it. I just liked that video, and I was like, yeah, that's nice. That is a good point of reference.
Very informative.
Yeah. So y'all, at the end of this episode, they gave a RIP to a baker. I was like, what? And that is Miss Dawn Hollyoak Bailey, who was a mere 62 years young, far too young to have left us. And you might remember her from just 2 seasons ago. She was on Sandro's season. And I was just like, I was so taken aback. Right. We'll get there when I get there. But I'll tell you right now, I was in a state by the end of this episode. I can tell you that straight up. But I want to read you the BBC's write-up of her passing. Great British Bake Off, Dawn Hollyoak dies, age 62. Charlotte Gallagher on the byline. Great British Bake Off stars have paid tribute to the former contestant Dawn Hollyoak, who died at the age of 62. The baker competed on Channel 4 show in 2022, becoming the 6th contestant to leave the tent. Her death, believed to have come after a significant illness, was announced with a heavy heart on her Instagram page with the message, not only a wonderfully talented baker, but first and foremost, an amazing mother, grandmother, wife, and friend. Dawn passed away peacefully, surrounded by her family. We will miss her forever, but promise to continue her baking legacy. Judge Paul Hollywood shared his condolences, writing, "I'm so sorry to hear that. Send my love to the family. A lovely lady." Carol Edwards, who competed on the same series as Miss Hollyoak, said she would miss her friend terribly. She added, "A beautiful and talented lady inside out. Fly high, my friend. Life just won't be the same without you." Other amateur bakers who competed on her series paid tribute, including Maxie Malik. I have no idea how to pronounce Maxie's last name. Maligsa, and if I'm wrong, sorry, Maxie. Who said, "Dawn will be missed so much. Our memories together are memories that I will cherish forever." Janusz Domagala wrote, "All my love is with you." Giuseppe Delano, who won the series in 2021, described the news as devastating as he recalled being blown away by her joyous personality and her infectious smile. "She'll be sorely missed, but will live in our hearts, in the heart of those who loved her," he added. Mother of 3, Mrs. Hollyoak competed on the show at age 60, and she described herself as an artist in and out of the kitchen, according to the show's website. Dawn loves the challenges of illusion cake. The more impossible sounding, the better. Favoring wacky and intricate designs, they allowed her to express her creative talent, and it says on her profile on the site. She prides herself on her steady hand and attention to detail, especially when it comes to the intricacy required for lace patterns on biscuits. Following her departure from the show, she said, "I really don't want to share tears over it because it's been the most amazing experience." So rest easy, lady. Like I said, I was oh my God, y'all. Anyway.
Yeah.
A state, I'll tell you that straight up and down. But I just want to get the sad out of the way, you know what I'm saying? And then here's a fun one. Again, I'll have both these articles in the show notes if you're so inclined to want to read through them. My man's Frank sent us this one. It's from Decider. Why the Great British Baking Show's most ridiculous season ever was also the best season in years. Megan O'Keefe on the byline. When we look back at 2024 season of the Great British Baking Show, the word chaos undoubtedly comes to mind. The Netflix hit was so renowned for its simple, understated approach to reality television, repeatedly went fully off the rails this year. Whether it was the shocking addition of Bronx-born baker who promptly quit,
He walked the hell off.
or Noel Fielding playing cricket with the baker's technical challenges, this season was the year the Great British Baking Show felt somewhat locked in a fever dream. Week after week, something incredibly silly, if not downright shocking, occurred in the set. Somehow, though, these non-stop antics never dulled the luster of the Great British Bake Off. This was not just the most anarchic season of the Bake Off ever, but one of the most fun to watch. No matter what happened, the Bake Off got one key ingredient to its initial success right: the bakers themselves. By now, it should come as no surprise to savvy television watchers that the Bake Off takes great pains to cast bakers who are not only great at what they do, but mentally and emotionally up to the task of being on camera. We decided to chat with a Bake Off alum, Jürgen Kraus, last year.
Jürgen!
He revealed the whole process takes upward of half a year. It goes up and up and up in stages. With each phone call, you're aware that there's less people they're calling, and the questions change. The qualities of the question change, Kraus said. Surprisingly, the least they're talking about is baking. I think they want to make good TV, right? So you have to be able to fit into the screen be a character that people can connect to. True to Kraus's point, the Bake Off is something of a unicorn in reality competition shows landscape when it comes to its casting process. Love Productions, the team behind the franchise, really have to be screening their candidates like no other show in the industry. Note how, unlike other long-running shows, there's no whiff of scandal that follow any of the bakers, nor tell of post-show breakdowns. The bakers on the Bake Off show seem perfectly conditioned to deal with the pressure of baking for Paul and Prue on international television, while also fitting into key character archetypes fans tune into the show for. In many ways, the latest batch of bakers is no different, and yet they're somewhat extraordinary. And usually there's a couple of charismatic characters to latch onto, but this season just about every baker had a moment to pull focus. Consider the zany comic chemistry that sparked between Slovakian-born diva Nelly Gaffar and Noel Fielding, or the sharply hilarious commentary of Essex mechanic Andy Ryan. Then we had not one but two precious young bakers able to pull off dazzling showstoppers alongside show-stopping moments. What will you remember more about Dylan Bachelet and Samaya Kazi? Their insane technical skills, or how the Gen Z bakers Gen Z? Is that mathin'? Okay.
I think they're probably younger than that, yeah. No, I guess they're Gen Z.
Yeah. Gen Z bakers dragged Noel and Allison to their faces. I don't know if they dragged them per se. The thing about the Bake Off cast is even the dark horses, the low-key bakers who would otherwise fly on the radar, found a way to open the usual calm of the tent. Jill Howard celebrated her elimination by breaking the fourth wall and committing theft. I didn't see any of that. I didn't see any of that coming any more than I could have predicted. Ultimate winner, who wins this episode? I'm not gonna say till we get there. Literally rolling down a hill in the finale. Even Jeff, the New York native who quit early, is a memorable addition to Bake Off canon because the whole situation was simply so odd and mysterious. However, the Great British Bake Off didn't just succeed in casting an especially memorable group of bakers. The production itself never wavered from putting the bakers first. Hosts Alison Hammond and Noel Fielding might have been giddier than ever, but they were also incandescently empathetic at every turn. Empathetic? Okay, I had it right. Comforting bakers in the moments of stress and building real friendships that shone through the screen. Judges Paul Hollywood and Prue Leith were as tough as ever, but they were also more encouraging, especially ensuring the young talent like Dylan and Samaya knew how good they were, even if the crew seemed more invested. Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you.
At least Jill's sweet farewell to a camera operator was something we've never seen acknowledged before. All in all, I had a blast with the latest season of the Bake Off. Sure, there was more drama in the tent than ever before, but there were so many more laughs. Joy was palpable and during the most stressful challenges, and all of this was thanks to the bakers. The Great British Bake Off cast a great group and never wavered in putting them first in the production. This season of the Great British Bake Off understood they wrote the baking show and Bake Off so many times in this article. Like when y'all read this article, it's like 20 times. They had a number, a count to make, a word count to make. Understand that the bakers who make the show so gosh darn great. Right on.
Hard agree.
Word to you, Megan. You are correct about many things. Just stop calling it the baking show. Don't be weird.
Hey, Miss June. I can't respond to the Twitch chat, but I see you. Hi.
Oh my God! Look, Allison falling off that counter.
Listen.
Wild.
Listen. And she also fell during the intro that week off that balloon thing.
Do you know I pulled? Can I find that picture? I actually pulled a picture of that thing just so I could tell you what it was actually called. And let me see if I still have it in my folder here. Let me close this. Be showing y'all my whole dang computer, but let me see if I can pull this picture for y'all. Do I still have it or did I erase it? Oh my God, it was such a cool little thing, and it was actually an advertisement from back in the day when this thing was first released, but I don't think I can find it. Well, worry not. It was pretty hilarious to me. So I was like, look at this nonsense. Also, I try to keep this folder pretty clean, just in general, because I have so many cast pictures and stuff in there.
Yeah.
Y'all just don't be know what goes on behind this production. It's a lot, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think of this show as my like quiet Saturday morning, relax with something warm to drink, whatever. But because it happened to fall this time when I do my Saturday morning commitment, I rarely got to watch it then. So it was nice, a little Friday night sometimes, or weeknight, little, it's still my happy place, even if the show's a little bit more, what do they call it? I don't know, some word they use, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
A certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
So let me share y'all a quick tale. I was going to watch the show the next day after we recorded, so that Wednesday. And I go into the show's threads, which I'm not super fan of, but I have one, just in case people like to use threads. And I go and open threads, and big as day is a picture of Christian. And I'm like, this motherfucker, they done ruined this show for me.
Oh no, but it was.
And so I'm like, I'm so mad. And I hit up Nick. I'm like, these motherfuckers done ruined the show for me. Because I didn't read. Remember, I saw, and then I stopped.
And bounced.
And then I'm mad, and I start watching the episode. And as I watch it, I'm watching my man's fuck up. And I'm just getting angry. And because now I'm like, I'm grumble. And then, y'all, I didn't finish the episode that day. And in fact, didn't watch this episode until yesterday. But guess what happened yesterday?
What?
Once again, I go and open the show's threads page.
Oh no.
And right there in the center, it says, congratulations to our winner. So, mind you, I thought it had been ruined for me. It had not been.
It got ruined twice.
But then it got ruined for me. And so I'm sitting there watching with Vanessa, grumpy.
Right.
But then by the time we get to the end, and I mean to the very end, where basically when they do the Breakfast Club, what everybody's doing now, we'll talk about when we get to the very end. We'll work our way there, people. But good great. But ain't that a blip?
Yeah.
Was wrongly mad and then rightly mad.
You had this show ruined for you twice.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Do, girl.
For the last time this season, the signature challenge, 24 scones, 12 savory and 12 sweet. They should be beautifully risen and well baked. They also have to make a filling that will complement each batch. They have 2 hours.
Man, listen. 24 just sounded like too big a number. I was like, nah, that's. But then I was like, what is it? It's the final. They about to really challenge you, and they did, y'all.
But they only gave him 2 hours.
Which is, it's a quick bread.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need the proof or anything like that there. So I get why that time was given like that, but also then there's no room for error. And errors were made. It was upsetting. Christian's up first. He's going for curry and coconut scones. His favorite scones are this is how he describes it, y'all. Curry, mustard, chili, onion, cheese situation.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, sure.
That will be served with a whipped feta filling with parsley and pine nuts. The sweet ones are going to be a toasted coconut and lime with clotted cream and passion fruit curd. Everything sounds above board there. Dylan is going for strawberry and salmon scones. Elevated strawberries and cream is his aim, with lightly pickled strawberries and a chamomile and rice vinegar brine. As for the savory batch, he's going for a celeriac, which we've discussed before, and cream cheese puree to top his fennel seed scones. They're going to have a little sauteed fennel and salmon rolls. Georgie's aiming for afternoon tea scones. Once again, Georgie ahead of the argument here. It's like she knew. And so she's raspberry jam and passion fruit curd for her. And for her savory ones, it's a mix of tapenade olives, herbs, anchovies, and a whipped soft cheese. I don't know what the hell soft cheese is, with no actual description to give me.
Right.
Soft cheese.
Well, whatever it is, I'm probably gonna smash. And my stomach is gonna hurt so bad because the soft cheeses are the ones that really get me as a lactose intolerant person. But like hard cheese, so much easier on the stomach.
I have heard, and I don't know if it's correct because I haven't been there, that people who are lactose intolerant in the States seem to do better with dairy in Europe.
No, I can't say that that's the truth. I also took a Lactaid before every single meal, just to be on the safe side.
Fair.
But no, I feel like I had much cheese over there, and I reacted probably just about the same as I do over here.
Fair.
But the food in general over there, like when I came home for a solid week, everything gave me the 1, 2, 3s. Back in America.
Damn you, America, doing my homegirl wrong. Let's judge this output, y'all. Christian's up top. They like the look, very uniform. They look delicious. A busy little scone, which is a fun turn of phrase that Paul used. Interesting, comforting, warm feeling, light, fresh kick to it. Prue was like, okay, I'm feeling this. But a little doughy. On the sweet ones, however, the coconut comes through really well. The curd is delicious, something unusual and well baked. They're excellent.
Nailed it, Christian.
Which is, of course, when I initially started watching this,
Right, you were like, well, damn.
I can see how this could play out, sir. Georgie's up next. Some a bit wobbly. Overall shape, not particularly good. A bit tough, but they do taste. They like the taste in their drum. Sweet ones, lighter, cakier, but the raspberries are not doing what they're supposed to do. Why is that, Nick Chu? How many times have I said this?
You need to use a dried fruit.
Don't use fresh raspberries unless you're going to put them just on top of like, look at that decoration. If you want the punch of raspberry in your baked, freeze-dried raspberries are going to do it every time. Also, they're not going to mess your bake up. But scones, though, would it dry it out some?
Because the scone's already like a super dry bread. Yeah. This is what I don't understand. Like, didn't she try it before? Don't they try these things?
It's like
her husband, like, it's good. It's fine.
I always worry about that, but also I wonder if you do it so much and then you like, look, it worked. These look nice. They taste pretty good.
Yeah.
But they taste pretty good to you when you need them to taste to Dame Prue and Paul's levels of taste.
Yeah.
You need that, which is punchy flavor. They constantly talk about it. And if they weren't punching, then guess what? You weren't going to be great.
Right.
Overall, decent job on both. Not quite polished enough, but the ideals are sound.
Was this the one that she had to remake, or was it on the? Yeah.
Yeah, her and Dylan both had to remake their scones in this situation because they were lean.
His looked crazy. It was like the Leaning Tower of Pisa in that oven, and then hers were burnt.
Dylan, really messy. But the scone is nice and light and actually delicious. The sweet ones are a bit tougher. The strawberries ain't strawberrying, and the chamomile ain't teaing, y'all. And so they just was like, And I was, again, because mind you, this is me believing that
Yeah.
that Christian's going to win. I'm just mad at Dylan now. Because I'm like,
He didn't even finish.
don't come in this tent during the final. Fuck it up like this.
Yeah. But it's that thing that had been happening with him. He was having poor time management, and he had been on the decline for the last probably like 3-ish weeks. Like, he would do excellent, but then it was like, and the one thing that he messed it up real bad.
Grumble.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, on to the next, please, and thank you.
The technical challenge set by the goddess of gâteau, Prue. Prue gave them some advice. She said it's a bit complicated, so they need to make a plan. Challenge is their afternoon tea display should consist of 4 individual lemon sandwich cakes, 4 strawberry tarts, and 4 platted egg and crust rolls. They have 4 hours.
I want y'all to know all season long I've been perfect. And today, I clicked that bitch early.
Because I be adding extra stuff.
Again, Mercury in the microwave, and we're going to just pin it on it and just be whatever. Because it actually is supposed to fuck with technical shit the most. So, and guess what? This is a highly technical situation we got popping here. Oh, my God. 4 cakes, 4 tarts, 4 sandos that have to be braided. That is a challenge that almost seems like it should be a showstopper challenge than a technical challenge. It is a lot to ask them to do. 3 hours to do it in.
4 hours.
They had 4. See, I thought I heard them say 4, and then I tapped it back, and it sounded like she said farewell. No, the subtitles. Right? Closed captioning said 3, and I was like, okay, 3 hours.
Yeah, 4. Which, I think that like this tea display is a perfect final technical challenge because it's like quintessentially English, but also very complicated. It includes things that they've already done, like the platted roll, and then you've got a cake and tarts.
It was wild, and Dame Prue was exactly correct saying, plot this out right quick, get a plan together before you go into this thing, and some people did, someone didn't. It was just upsetting to watch, Nick. It was like this man is falling apart, y'all.
It was not, like, it just, for me, I was just like, tracks. And not that I have anything against this final 3, but both of the people that I was really rooting for, neither of them were there. So it was inconsequential to me who won. But when he started to fall apart and continued to fall apart, like we said, this was his to lose. And not only did he lose it, the other people like were trying to win.
Yeah, grumble. So let's judge these people's output this go around. Christian's up top. Definition in the braid. There is definition in the braid, but it's cut wrong, so the filling isn't being shown off. I don't know if you want to show off egg and crust all that much, but apparently you do.
Right.
But the bread is good, has a bite to it, but it's soft and lovely. The tart is quite pretty, snaps well, lovely, perfectly baked. The cake is quite neat, nice texture, wouldn't mind that at all. Okay, there you go. Georgie, neat. Got the definition, but they all look mostly the same. Lovely texture of the roll. The egg and crust is delicious. Look, are you an egg salad kind of person?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, 100%. Yes.
How often you eat an egg salad?
Well, because of the fact that I'm 75 years old, I can't really have eggs all that often. But it's one of those sandwiches that I don't tend to make at home. But if I'm somewhere and they have an egg salad sandwich, I'm buying it. Like when I was still going to Starbucks regularly, they have an amazing egg salad sandwich, actually. And I did a play where we needed a food prop, and our stage manager would just go get the sandwich from Starbucks. And every night I'd be like on stage, like, let me get a bite of that. And so I just started buying them. But like, I'm not there's certain things that I just don't make at home. I don't have a lot of peanut butter here, but I love a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, same with egg salad. I love egg salad.
Fair enough. Maybe egg and crust is doing things I am simply unaware of.
You don't like deviled eggs?
I do. I love a deviled egg.
That's an egg salad sandwich.
I know, but it's
the same thing.
I disagree, Aaron. But yes, you are correct. It's literally the same ingredients. It's the same
just
everything
on a bread.
It's different. It's just different enough.
Yeah.
Not convinced by the tart's layout, and the pastry is certainly overcooked. On the sponge, difficult to cut in half. They laugh about it. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, why is that so funny to them? And then they explain. But the lemon curd is a winner. It's just delicious, if slightly overbaked. That's why they couldn't cut it. Turns out the sponge was overbaked in a way that was like, oh, that knife ain't knifing. Y'all. Dylan, a bit uneven. The braiding wasn't perfect. In fact, it was terrible. Baked okay, but it's a bit dense. The dough is just too tight. The pastry is a bit rough and too thick. Obviously done in a hurry. Twice in this episode, you'll hear about hurrying. Sponge looks uneven. The flavor is lovely. The lemon curd is good, but the sponge is a little ropey and not good. I don't even know what ropey means in this description. I don't think I want to know. Ew.
And he, instead of baking 4, was like, I'm going to just make 2 and cut them. And the first thing Paul said was, they look uneven. I wonder why.
Just, I don't know what he was thinking this go round. I truly don't. I can't, like, he's not a shortcutty guy. Why this week? Why this week you decided I'm gonna do some shortcuts? I'm gonna take.
Maybe he got cocky.
It didn't seem like it.
No, I mean not like this day, but just like going into this week, because it was his to lose.
Success. In third, Dylan, bread wasn't good. No height in the strawberries, and the sponge wasn't your best.
He's like a good bread maker too. Did he win bread week?
Handshaking bread week.
Yeah. Whew. That has to be so demoralizing. Poor guy.
Yeah. Georgie, not too bad. The sponge, I love how Paul just points. Not too bad. These, the sponge, overbaked. And these, the tarts, burnt. But they like the bread, and overall it looked decent. Which means Christian, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, finally comes in first in the technical. The rolls were perfect. The tarts looked beautiful. The lemon cakes were delicious.
I mean, when you got to show up.
So again, real obvious to your man. So I'm like, what are you doing?
Right. He won.
Right, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He did that, right? He did that.
I mean, low key. I mean, they didn't ask me, but
one last time, Nick.
This is our showstopper challenge, the final ever for the season. The judges would like them to make an exquisitely decorated hanging cake fit for a summer garden party. Should consist of at least 3 tiers, 2 fillings, and be exquisitely decorated. They have 4.5 hours.
Nick Jew, were you showstopped this week?
No. I thought that they were some beautiful cake. There were two very beautiful cakes. But my issue with with both of the cakes actually were the real flowers. You have 4.5 hours. Y'all couldn't have piped some flowers.
I wasn't the least bit excited about this. Well, it's because I think it's because in my mind I know who won, and so maybe that is taking from my excitement. But I wasn't even excited about the ideal.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was a very showstoppery ideal,
yeah.
Especially after that very, very tough, what I thought, technical challenge. I was like, this is y'all gonna come to it's cake.
Yeah,
I guess the hanging part could be difficult, but y'all have provided them the needed accoutrement to do that part.
and that was exciting to watch them all like actually suspend the cakes and whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Same. Georgia's up top here. She's going for a summer garden celebration hanging cake. It's going to be a lemon sponge filled with strawberry confit, lemon curd, champagne and elderflower mascarpone chantilly cream, and an elderflower buttercream on the outside. She's going to do some work with a, what does she call it, a paint knife to kind of draw these flowers on there in a certain way. And it was very impressive in its art and in its production. So I got to give it up to her on that one. Christian going for a sculpted summer hanging cake. It's a lemon time, and he kept saying lemon time and not lemon and time, which makes me think
lemon time.
Lemon time must be a thing, right? And so let's see what lemon time is, y'all. I usually have these present beforehand, but I'm trying to. Can I just get a wiki for this bad boy? Y'all give me everything but what I need. Oh, here we go. Boom. All right, y'all. Thymus citriodorus is lemon time or citrus time. So it is its own thing. It's a lemon-scented evergreen mat-forming perennial plant in the family Lamiaceae. There has been a great amount of confusion over the plant's correct name and origin. Recent DNA analysis suggests that it's not a hybrid or a cross, but a distinct species as it was first described in 1811. Yet an analysis in a different study clustered Thymus citriodorus together with Thymus vulgaris, which is considered as one of its parent species. Fascinating. So it just must be a lemony ass time, y'all, and that's kind of neat to me. I wasn't aware. Got one more of those. Got one more under the belt, y'all, under the radar. We got one more of these explanations because this week I gave y'all no fresh explanations,
Right?
Because everything we had gone through at some point.
Except for cress. I thought it was like the same as watercress, but apparently they are not the exact same.
Well, shit. I didn't know that, which is why I did not go for any kind of description. Cress. Let's see. Garden cress, watercress, bitter cress. Oh, there are multitudes of cresses, y'all.
Of cresses. Many cresses.
So I wonder which cress they were going with.
So the watercress, and I think they probably are using that garden cress. But it's saying that watercress is a different like genus and species. But this garden cress, just from what I looked at, it kind of looks like a sprout.
Cress, in this case, this is a garden cress, y'all. Lepidium savatium, sometimes referred to as garden cress or curly cress to distinguish it from similar plants, also referred to as cress from the Old English cress with an E at the end of it, is a rather fast-growing edible herb. Garden cress is genetically related to watercress and mustard, sharing their peppery, tangy flavor and aroma. In some regions, garden cress is known as mustard and cress, garden pepper cress, pepperwort, pepper grass, or poor man's pepper. Jesus.
Sorry, different genus.
Yeah. The annual plant can reach a height of 60 centimeters, 24 inches, with many branches on the upper part. The white to pinkish flowers are only 2 millimeters, 1/16 an inch, across clustered in small branched, racemes. Wow, new words, people. When consumed raw, cress is a high nutrient food containing substantial content of vitamins A, C, and K and several dietary minerals. Let's give it up to garden cress, my peoples, which is apparently different than watercress.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Lemon thyme. Okay, so Christiane's cake is lemon thyme, cardamom, and poppy seed olive oil sponge. He's going to fill that with raspberry and licorice jam. Then a marbled white chocolate ganache on the second tier level, I don't know, of this cake.
Tier.
The whole thing's going to be covered in a lemon thyme French buttercream, aka creme au beurre, as you might recall. And, well, we'll get there.
I ain't never seen so many poppy seeds in my life. Poured all the damn poppy seeds in that dough.
Your girl, no, remember your girl, Nelly came through with the poppy seed situation. I like I said, we fully agree, Miss June. That it was whack, not whack, just not as good as it should have been for a show-stopping situation. Dylan, the colors of Murano. It's an Earl Grey Genoa, meaning Nick, you would love it. Sponge filled with mascarpone and candied orange, decorated to look like the buildings in the Italian fishing town of Murano. And apparently they also blow glass there. Yeah. How you can call it a fishing town, but y'all blowing glass there? Which one is it? I guess it could be both, but if it is both, don't call it the one thing.
That's two very odd things for a town to be known for: fishing and glass blowing.
The glass blowing fishing town of Murano. Dylan getting definitely the loser's edit was put up first here, y'all. Quite abstract, not obvious.
It was so many things. There was a globe, and then just like a pink cake, and another cake where he didn't have time to finish the glass blowing, so it looked like it was pieces ripped out of the cake, but which could also kind of be a good facsimile for those houses where the paint was coming out. But it was just like, if you got to do all that to explain it, and it didn't look finished, in my humble opinion.
You are correct. But they do, Prue seems to believe that she got the feeling of the crumbling plaster. That's done well, in her opinion. Guess what? The tea works well. They like the candy oranges. The candy oranges work so well that, in fact, they're like, we wish there was more of it, because when it hits nicely. The Genoa, of course, has concertinaed up, just as Paul was concerned it would. That is because the filling is uneven. It's like there's an inch here, half an inch here, a quarter of an inch here, and hardly any in this like little last spot. It's obviously not well balanced, and obviously rushed. And they asked him about it. He goes, "Yeah, that was the last one that came out the oven, and so indeed I was rushing to do it."
Dylan. They wanted to give it to him so badly. Like, even in the judging, they were just like, "Oh, anyone could win." No. Oh,
see, I'm gonna need to see this. I need me some of Allison's greatest hits. You feel free to send me that. You send me that link on any of the socials we got around these parts. You know what I'm saying? Because I would love to watch that TikTok. In my own notes, my own little personal whatever, it's so frustrating to watch Dylan just stumble at the finish line like this.
Yeah.
But Paul does finish up by saying, "Fascinating work," and I'm like, I dig it. I dig that you can appreciate what you can appreciate of this. But for real, could you imagine Samaya was in the building to do something like this?
Or Eileen.
Yeah. Georgie certainly says summer. The piping and stenciling look great, well baked, utterly delicious. Almost like a trifle. This improves like, this has got so much this delicious filling in it. The elderflower works nicely with the sponge, which is beautifully baked, nice and even. The filling is lovely. The mascarpone is soft and luxurious and complements the sharpness of the lemon. Absolutely delicious. Well done. People, that is how you walk away with a platter at the end of this episode.
I still wish she would have made flowers. Because also, too, why are you putting non-edible items on a cake that people have to eat?
I guess that part is the garden portion of this program. But you are correct. You probably could have got some fondant and hooked some shit up. Because we've seen people do it in the past. So it's
Yeah.
not like it's impossible. Christiana's bringing up the rear. The design is wonderful. They love the top. Y'all swear.
That top of hair was awesome.
Gorgeous. It's perfectly. Oh my. I don't even know what he was.
It kind of looked like a lamp. With that top looking like a lampshade. Like a really
Correct.
like chic lamp.
Yes. And I loved it for it. I actually
Yeah.
loved that for it.
He grew on me so much in this last episode, like him and his partner and his little baby pictures. I just was like, oh, okay, he could win.
I'm telling you right now, angry at first. By the time we got to here, I was like, hell yeah, let my man do what he gonna do. But of course, you know, as we know, I was all jacked up on this whole situation. The middle layer, not as polished. Let me say, I'm gonna let y'all know this, and I'm not joking. I know whatever. She's like, T, you wildin'. As soon as they cut it and they put it on that plate, I was like, oh, that's overbaked. They hadn't said a word yet, and I have watched enough Bake Off at this point and baked enough. Let me tell you, Thanksgiving just passed, y'all. Guess what? Your boy was in the kitchen. I could see a dry cake from like 50 yards off, and I was like, that is overbaked. That is obviously so. And of course, Prue's like, I have never tasted anything like this before. Because who be throwing licorice up in the cake, y'all?
Right. Licorice and what was the fruit?
Raspberry.
Licorice and raspberry. I'm trying to think about how. I don't know if I'm mad at it.
Red licorice is a raspberry, strawberry kind of vibe. So it makes sense. But what you don't have is that aniseed kind of flavor that is licorice.
Yeah.
Normally with the red licorice.
That'd be interesting.
So it's like he brought black and red licorice together.
Together.
Now that you say that, I likely want to eat a piece of those.
Right, like I would like to braid a piece of black and red licorice together and just bite it and see. Because I'm not a huge fan of black licorice, but I imagine with the sweetness of the red,
I only like black licorice in the form of black jelly beans. But
those taste like they are spicy to me.
They usually come in a bag of spiced jelly beans.
Yeah,
so you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Licorice with raspberry is unusual. They like all the flavors. But Prue's like, it's just a mite too strong. Almost too concentrated. Delicious in a tiny bit, but not so much in a big old slice. Love the ideal. It's so very Christian.
Yes.
Throughout this whole episode, we get, of course, because it's just we're down to the last three bakers. We get these lovely little pieces about their families and so forth and so on. And to see Dylan's dad and his mom, he's like, how did y'all two wind up? I know it seems weird, but Europe be doing some weird things.
Yeah.
Because these people would have never bumped into each other in America.
And I thought his dad was Asian just because, well, like, other Asian than Indian. Yeah. Because of the way that he was like always incorporating Asian design and flavors into his food.
His dad is Japanese and Dutch.
Oh, okay.
And his mom's just Indian.
Because his dad had a name that I was like, okay, is he like Spanish? His first name was some like Diego, or not Diego, but something like that. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah. And so you get to see, pictures of them and their family hanging out and so forth. And they're just lovely people. I'm just like, what a pairing.
Right? Slightly younger Dylan.
Yeah, for real. And like I said,
baby pictures hella crisp.
Meeting Christian's partner, who was a handsome little redhead with a nice little red beard. I'm like, look at this little bloke. I'm like, all right, man, I see you. And his mom, and he's like kicking it with his mom and shit, and taking her, because of course she lives in the Netherlands, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so it's like she probably ain't come to kick it a lot in England and so forth.
I was like, oh, I have a picture in front of Buckingham Palace just like that.
And then of course you get Georgie and her family, and you see Georgie's dad and her brother and her husband, and he's like
little cheering
Georgina, and I'm like, oh shit, she's Georgina.
Yeah,
she's not Georgie.
Yeah. And her little cheerings and her animals.
Yes. And it's just, as mad as I was just also so pleasantly just taken aback by this episode.
And Allison one more time had to come and be the mama in a situation
You
because
broke your
Dylan
glasses?
was
Hey, y'all, this happens live. My son just brought me his glasses. Is it broke or just out? Out, I can fix. Out, I can fix. I've done this before.
maybe
So
the
worry not.
screw probably fell out. Maybe.
Yeah, no, the lens just popped out. So
Oh,
that's breezy.
yeah. Super soups ease.
Lucifer snapped in half.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like my first pair of glasses. Like 40 bucks.
Mind you, this is my almost 21-year-old son. His birthday is this coming Sunday.
That's crazy to me.
It is crazy to me.
I
It's
mean,
crazy to me.
obviously
as
it's
well.
crazy to you, but it's super crazy to me. Because Xander was like, gosh, not that old when I
No,
met you.
when you got to meet my man. So
Yeah.
it's so funny. It's not gonna break or anything like that there. And also, you have really jacked your glasses up this time. About probably time to get some new ones here in the new year. Just kind of use that to guide it back into place. And yeah, so you're not just firing the crap out of your lenses. Fixing glasses, people. It's what I have to do. I've had glasses since I was like 10 years old. Trust me, I know.
I'm an adult glasses wearer. Just one night driving home from like work or something, I'm like, what? Why I feel like I'm underwater, Jesus?
Oh my gosh. It was just wonderful to see all this. And your winner, of course, is Georgie. And you know what? Props to her.
Yeah, I mean, she was consistent. She had a rough little start. She was consistent. Her flavors were good, and they kept calling her like a home baker, but she really had some good decoration techniques. Like all in all, if it weren't going to be Dylan, she should have been next in line. I could still make a case for Christian because he won this episode, in my humble opinion.
Correct.
But throughout the season, he was just almost there.
One hit away. It just really was, and it's just kind of how it had to play out, and that's okay.
Yeah, and Dylan, we saw in the after, he's got a job at a Michelin star restaurant, which is exactly what he wanted to do. So
I was literally about to just walk you through it. So of course they do our little post, and they say where everybody's at right now, and they show Samaya having traveled everywhere around before she started university, and Nellie and Andy hang out with their families.
I love
together.
that. I need them to have a television show.
Yes, just give me a YouTube travel log with them two having a good time. Jill's like, Jill and her dog went whatever. Steve came to, and I'm like, it made me choke. I was like, very good. The older lady whose name is just not going to come to me.
Janet,
Was that her name?
I believe so.
There's no fucking way, Nick. That lady's name was Janet. If that bitch named Janet.
Was it? Yeah, from Liverpool.
Hazel. What the hell?
Wait, there was a Janet.
go
Oh,
round.
Jesus. She's from like the very first season. Hazel. Wow.
I was like,
She looks like what's her name from Three's Company. That's probably why I called her Ask Janet.
Look like Janet. There you go. It makes perfect sense. They show Iliane and her husband and kids hanging out in Paris.
Them adorable little babies.
Jesus Christ, her husband is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, wow.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, if you gonna do it, you better do it, Iliane.
For sure. They show Jeff. Jeff baked his son's wedding cake. So
amazing.
right there, when they say that, right, immediately I just like, I felt it right there. I was like, oh no. And they ran through it. I'm just like, oh. And then when they show Dylan, and they say Dylan is a job at a Michelin star restaurant over.
Yeah.
I literally buried my face in Vanessa's leg, just bawling. Right,
You are definitely somebody's daddy.
I get it together. Didn't they say that Dawn died?
Yeah.
Crashed out because that's one of our favorite seasons. It was like the second season we did this, maybe.
I feel like I had heard it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I already knew though, but I was like, oh, Dawn.
Yeah.
Sweet lady too.
Yeah, and I know we enjoyed that season because that was, of course, Sandro and Janus and everybody, bakers that we banged with. I'm saying that we still talk about. We still
knew.
Yeah.
What a great season. I should rewatch some of these.
Yeah. So I actually went back and rewatched the last episode of that season. Not the whole thing, just like to the where are they? Because I remember them talking about Dawn saying, oh, Dawn went and hung out with other bakers, like winners, like Giuseppe and somebody else and so forth. And I was just
Giuseppe.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, y'all. It really was a really great season of the show.
It was.
And I, of course, I'm just proud to do this show. And like I said, we switched over to a whole new operation to do the show this go around. So it's been a lot involved.
We had our new friends from Great American.
Hell yeah, we got bakers that we fuck with that come and kick it with us. So many big thank yous to, of course, my man Brad, who not just because Brad came and did the show a couple of times, but because Brad introduced us to everybody else.
Yes.
And it's like so dope. Oh, thank you, Miss Junior. I love it. Don't worry about it. We got one more before the year is out. We're going to do the Great American Baking Show Holiday Edition, which I still have not watched, but we'll get that in. I
haven't watched it either.
So you get one more before the year wraps up. But it just has been great. And so thank you to Victoria came through. Who else came through, Nick?
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie came through. Yeah. And so that was super dope. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It was just a really, really great season of this particular show. And I needed it because this 2024, y'all, been 2024
hard
for the stretch. And so
not a bad year, just a difficult year.
Difficult is the best way to explain that. And so when I can get a little lightness that comes from this program, I really was going to take advantage. Paul walking up to George being like, hey, man, I need you to roll down this hill because you told me you would. It was pretty great. So I had a lot of fun, y'all. But you know what it is. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share this show wherever possible. Give us a follow over on YouTube, yo. We're just trying to grow the numbers over there, build the base up, and keep it moving. Feel free to reach out to us, podcast at stagecrunchymilk.com or 216-264-6311. It's 216-264-6311. We'd certainly love to hear from you and hear from you. We have the homie Brad gave us a little comment on semifinal episode and says, I need to watch the finale. Brad, you got to let us know what you thought of the finale.
Yeah.
Because I would like your insight, because I like your insights. I happen to just have, my phone is like, hey, man, you got an episode of the show. And I'm like, well, yes, because I make this show. Settle down, iPhone. But it wanted me to download the episode. And so I went to go look at it. And I was like, oh, hey, that's a relatively recent review. And so let's give it up to metaphoric.
Oh.
Now that we put that together, wow, that should not have taken that long. And the review is titled The Greats, the only podcast that is as addictive and binge-worthy as the British Bake Off itself.
Aww.
Perfection, no notes, listen.
Oh, that's so nice.
It was so nice. Thank you so very much, Metaphoric, for that lovely, lovely review of us. You too should probably hit these internet streets and give us a review. Again, it just helps the cause, people. More people get out here and see us. And so that is what's populating with that. I was signed into the email, but of course it signed me out. Because the homie Big Frank hit us up a couple times. The first one, season 15 final thoughts plus an article. The article is about the Jack Sparrow of Bake Off, Dylan, which is pretty hilarious. Hey, KP crew. Well, this was quite the finale. Before I get to that, I have to say I was a little surprised you didn't comment about Jill's exit in the semifinals. Did we not comment about Jill? Because I could have sworn I had a long discussion about how much I loved her, how she left that tent and took her bowl and talked to the cameraman. And if I didn't, I don't know. But I could have. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's got to be the most memorable ever. To give a big old bear hug to her cameraman and then swipe props. She just managed to outdo Nelly.
Yeah.
Anyway, as far as the finale, my husband was furious with the outcome, as were a lot of fans. Personally, I was disappointed, but at the end of the day, I never forget the prize is a cake platter. Exactly. It's nothing to be that worked up over.
I'm so glad that I'm not really connected to this fandom on socials because I'm having a great time. And apparently, there are things that people don't like about this show. I can't fathom.
Yeah. I would think that a lot of them would have calmed down when it was announced he got a job as a Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah.
Apparently, it happened after the show finished filming. I would not be surprised if both Prue and Paul same,
Yeah.
wrote up recommendations for him. He's possibly the most talented baker to ever appear on the show. But then again, he's still only 20, and you never know how things will play out.
Mm-hmm.
The restaurant is called The Five Fields. They serve a tasting menu with at 170 pounds per person. While already successful, I imagine there will be a big uptick in reservations.
Oh, my gosh.
That's so cool. Anyway,
I love a tasting menu.
Okay, there you go. That was some finale. The technical has to be one of the hardest. We said that. Facts. And how many people in the world realize there's such a thing as hanging cakes? Thank you.
Right.
You have to wonder if the producers and Prue and Paul adjust the talents according to the talent pool. Small wonder you saw Georgie chugging wine directly from the bottle. Yeah, she hit that shampoo. She was on them shams.
She sure was. Off them bubbles.
Anyway, I'm okay that Dylan didn't win. He is on his way to his goal, exactly, which is to become a Michelin star chef. After watching the extra slice, I'm reminded that the cast is undoubtedly one of the best overall, and the show needs to put them to good use. They already announced who will be returning for the holiday special this year, but I think next year should be Jill, Ilian, Sumaya, Nelly, Andy, Mike, basically the people who came in 4th through 9th, and give them their own pseudo finale. The chemistry they have with each other and the banter and ease that gets generated with Allison and Noel justifies a season 15 reunion episode. No surprises, they had their own reunion on Mike's farm.
Yeah.
I think also some festival should book the whole cast and have each bake a specialty item at 100 servings and have those items be sold for charity. And then have a Q&A event that would be a major sellout and the food gone in a couple hours. Also, a nice piece of irony that Hazel is now working in a bakery. I saw that on the extra slice.
Janet.
Just to show baking talent and competitive skills don't always go hand in hand. P.S. Here's a nice post-show article on Dylan. Of course, I told you the title of this article is "The Jack Sparrow of Baking: Bake Off's Breakout Star, Dylan Bachelette on Fame, Fans, and Life Outside the Tent." And of course, he sent us the other article, which we read on the show today. So thank you for that, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Always good to hear from you, man. Thank you so much for your support and always being a part of this operation. It just makes doing it every week that much more of a delight. Just to have your voice be a part of this. Yeah, there's a great series of Bake Off.
We got a taste and bake. We got a technical challenge with no recipe.
We got a Hollywood shoulder pat.
High five.
A Hollywood applause. You know what I'm saying? Remember he clapped for Jill. So you know what I'm saying? We outside, y'all. So many handshakes that it just seemed like it. Not really so many, because in reality, it is. Ilian got a handshake.
Samaya.
Samaya got a handshake. Dylan got 3 handshakes.
Crazy.
And I think that is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot in that one person got 3 of them hoes.
Yeah.
But now he works as he is chef de partie at that restaurant that we just told you about. Don't get it twisted. My man's is on it, and he talks about it on this extra slice episode. And so I was just like, just great. Okay.
And it gave us Nelly. It
was so much fun. I love the Andy and his accent. Yeah. Just over and over. We got to go into the second week of the tent with the full complement of bakers for the first time ever. Mm-hmm. It really was a wild and crazy series this go around, and I very much
somebody just left. And it was the American.
Got his cup and started sipping.
Bounced.
It just disappeared off into the shadow.
It's very American. It's very New York. Like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
I'm going to holler at y'all. You know what I'm saying? We'll get you on the next time.
Right.
So that's just what it is. Nick Chu is the host of the podcast, What's the Tea? They have a Patreon where they have some stuff going on over there. So if you know what I'm saying, you should probably get down with that whole situation because it's dope. I host a podcast called Stage Crunch and Milk that I have not given nearly the focus it deserves over this last month and plus of doing this show, which has basically been my baby. Because guess what? I absolutely love doing Krème Patisserie. It's not that I don't love doing Skim. There's a flow and a rhythm to this and a cadence to it that I really enjoy. I cannot wait to jump on Skim this week and talk to Box about Kendrick Lamar for far too long. And it's just going to be like, okay, T, thank you.
Yeah. Especially with this tour announcement, baby.
Tell you, man, I might be up in the 6 watching my man's at what is this? Is it Scotia? Is it in the same? Is it in the arena again, or is it?
I don't know.
I have to see where they're doing.
Well,
that.
yeah, he's doing an arena tour, so whatever arena they have there, it's gonna be that. To me, like, there's so many Kendrick Lamar bright spots in 2024.
Yeah.
Just like I wish I could relive April through June again.
I, with far too much regularity, watch YouTube reactions to these things.
I have to get in on those.
And so I go back and watch people. And so what's been fun this time around is watching people get to Luther for the first time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And they're like, oh, listen to that Spanish guitar. That's so good. And then
Yeah.
you hear, if this world were mine. And people
we drama
it's like, yeah. That is the level of astounding. That, and of course, they were saying the beat switch and mustard on TV off.
I just love how Bay Area coded TV off is. It's that I told the group chat because we're half Bay Areans and half LAans. I'm like, TV off is for us, Dodger Blue is for y'all.
Dodger Blue. So
And he just
good.
rolls right down the coast.
This album is so good, y'all. 12 songs, 43 minutes. I listen to it. So I take my children to school, my child to school in the morning, and lately I've been taking my son to work, which means by the time it's all said and done, I've listened to the whole album in my journey, which is lovely because it's that easy to listen. And yeah, turn this TV off. We talked about it on Cadillac on Mars. Oh yeah, I'm on a show called Cadillac on Mars. It only comes out once a month, but it's dope. And this album dropped right before we recorded that next episode, and so we got to have a long sit down and breakdown of this album on that show. So we keep trying to hear my musical thoughts on this album. And my man Chalfie and Delvin's, go check out Cadillac on Mars, and because it's real fun to talk about this album. I just love talking about this album. And again, constantly I watch stuff. I love coming across haters. Every now and again I'll come across somebody who just really loves them some Drake, and it's like, what has he done to earn the Super Bowl? And I'm like, y'all are lying.
Girl. And he already performed at the Super Bowl. Like, he was in that whole LA thing a couple years ago, and he was incredible.
Thank you.
My thing is all these new fans, and like, happy to have you, but they're all like, wow, his breathing, he's just so incredible. This is a new Kendrick. It's not a new Kendrick. You're a new fan. And it's okay. Just come in and sit down with the rest of us. Because when I saw this young man at a music hall in San Francisco in like 2012, I said, he breathes like an opera singer. This breath control is not new. This vengeance is not new. He came on the scene overly dedicated. He told you he was too much for these niggas and too much for these hoes. Please know that you just have not been listening.
You're late. And that's okay to be late.
That's
Nothing
okay.
wrong. Just be fashionably late.
Yeah, don't come up in here and talk about if you discovered something. You ain't discovered nothing that we didn't already know.
Now that me and Chalfie talked about that on either the last catalog or cat before last. How this world is full of people who think they discover shit on some Columbus type nonsense. You did not. It was already here, and we knew about it, and it's okay.
It's fine.
Anyway,
Totally fine.
this was the finale of in our case, season 4 of our season 4 of Krème Patisserie. It's a Great British Bake Off podcast. I'm quite proud of it. That's Nick Jew.
Yeah.
Our missing man is the 2 and 6's own Tatum. I am the Interstellar 713. Bake with us again next time, y'all. Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.